I'm glad that the microphone was adjusted to my height. Usually it's a problem. Welcome. I'm not going to introduce myself. It was just done for me. It's my pleasure that the Laboratory of Legal and Commercial Aspects of New Technology and Space Exploration may invite you to a very interesting panel or a thematic blog concerning autonomous system, which refer to all kinds of elements, land, water, maritime, air, and cosmic level. We will be discussing legal aspects and the technical aspects, so we are prepared also in this area, in the purely technological area. The laboratory was founded this year. It's a fresh project. It has been functioning within the Department of Law Administration at the University of Nicholas Copernicus in Toruń, and it functions within the Faculty of Civil and Maritime Law. We study technologies, especially AIs, autonomous systems that we'll be discussing today. We're also dealing with phenomena that cannot be really attached to particular technologies, that they are a sphere of broader phenomena and subject matters. I'm talking about cybersecurity and space exploration. Of course, I encourage all of you to contact us, to cooperate with us, but without further ado, I want to invite all the panelists in our block. First of all, I'll ask, according to the chronology in the agenda, I'll ask Mateusz Dyrda, Scalp Robotics Association. He will talk about the technological aspects. Please take a seat. Mateusz, I'll ask Zuzanna Pepłowska-Dąbrowska, participant of our laboratory, employed at our Maritime and Civil Law faculty. Please take your seat. I'll ask to our panel Lidia Mucha, who will be dealing with aspects of autonomous systems with regards to land procedures. Lydia is also a member of our laboratory. And we will also have legal counsel Michał Nosowski, member of our laboratory, representative of Byte Law legal office. He will be referring to the air space. And we need Emilia Florek to join us, moderator of the discussion part of this panel. Emilia, please join us. She's also a legal counsel and a member of our laboratory. I think we have everybody. So considering the fact that we are a bit delayed, I'm not going to postpone this part. I'll ask Mateusz Dyrda, representative of the Scalp Association, who will be speaking about total automation, whether we are on the verge of total autonomy of UAVs. The floor is yours. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. As Mariusz introduced me, my name is Mateusz Dyrda. I'll be talking today. I will have very not so technical presentation, and in the next several minutes I'll try to present you with information where the idea came from. Why should we be on the verge of total automation? I am a representative of the Scalp Association from Gdańsk that deals with promoting knowledge on modern technologies, robotics. As the slogan of Drone Tech Meeting, it all starts with man. We also believe that humans are most important part of technology. We try to make it possible or make available technology to all people to establishing cooperation within our association. Before we talk about the future, I would like to go back a bit. the technology that is non-existent. Let's get into a time machine and go back in time. And let's kidnap a child from old times, from the past. Let's bring it back here into our times and raise it. We will provide food, education, we will teach the child the language, and this child will be no different from the peers. He or she will grow to be a normal adult, perhaps will even be at university. So the question is how long we have to go back in time. The prehistoric man that we are kidnapping, how far back should we go so this person is not too far away from the modern person? So 250,000 years ago, our brains haven't changed since that time in a way that would change our cognitive abilities. So we are still the same people that were running after mammoths. Prehistorical people are living in small communities. They are creating the civilization. They form the language, hunt together, and about 12,000 years ago, there is a revolution, there's a breakthrough. One of the members of this community decides that perhaps they don't need to constantly change the place of residence. Perhaps they don't have to chase the flocks of animals, the hordes of animals, and he comes up with farming. He sees that when seeds are planted, when they are properly managed, the plants will bring crops. For the first time in history, we become independent from the natural environment because we ourselves can choose in what point in time we will have resources available for us. So for the first time in history, we can devote time, we can plan, and devote time to something else than looking for calories for food. What do we spend this time on? On building civilization. We constitute the law, which begin to create civilizations with large buildings. And because not everyone needs to do the farming, the society can start to create things that are not just to fulfill the basic needs, the primary needs. The law is created, philosophy emerges, we develop in a linear way. This progress keeps happening. The largest civilizations are built, and they collapse, and they are rebuilt. But one problem remains. We are still using crops in a very natural way. We don't have an impact on the crops. We have to wait for the plants to grow. We have to use either the strength of our hands to plow the land, or we have to use livestock, on which we control in a way, but we don't control their biology. So this is the Malthusian catastrophes, where in order to grow, for the population to grow, we have to farm more and more land. And in order to farm more and more land, we have to have more people doing the farming, involved in farming. So we get stuck as a society, as the whole world. This is at the end of 18th century. Suddenly, all countries in the world are stuck in the Malthusian catastrophe. They cannot move forward with their progress. We have reached the maximum of what we can do. Luckily, or not so luckily, James Watt appears, who invents a strange machine, a big piece of metal, pieces connected together. The machine does a strange thing. It heats water, and from the steam that is created by heating the water, it runs the wheel. It spins the wheel. This is all that it does. It spins the wheel. In the first case, it pumps the water from a mine, which means we can go further to the lower parts of the mine and retrieve deposits. So what seemed a strange machine at the beginning that spins something, in reality is a beginning of the Industrial Revolution that has so affected the population all over the world. So from 10 years before Christ, 10,000 years before our epoch. At the beginning of the 18th century, there is a surge, that there are from several million of people in the world, suddenly there are billions of us, several billions. Why? Because for the first time in history, we can decide what power our civilization we have. We can build more and more machines that will produce more power. We can force machines to continuous work and once again do other things. So this is the first industrial revolution, but in fact this is the second revolution in the existence of civilization. Once again, a great part of work that was required to gain food is now spent on, this time is spent on other things. What do we do with this time? We put it into entire concept of engineering. We think about how to process metals. We come up with different kinds of drugs that were non-existent in the previous dozens of thousands of years. We start to produce goods in a absurdly cheap way. Now we can produce vehicles for very small amounts, very complicated machines that are very cheap, that each of us can possess. This industrial revolution changes entirely the picture of what our society looks like, and we still feel these changes. In the last several days, I traveled from Toruń to Toruń and Toruń to Gdańsk 6 times, and so I traveled over 1,000 kilometers, and I don't feel it in any way. And several hundred years ago, or 150 years ago, it would be the travel of my life. At the end of the revolution, the technological revolution, the man created a new machine, a very strange one. It doesn't spin any wheels. The only thing it does is that it hits. Perhaps it spins some kind of fan and displays some strange things on the screen. This machine will not offer additional power. It will not provide power that we will be able to use to process stones, to transport anything. It just gives us information, gives us the possibilities for fast processing and analyzing data. From the very beginning, it is absurdly great at it. What does it cause? It causes another revolution that, that in turn gives us scientific discoveries that happen right in front of us and changing completely our lives. Sequencing DNA, methods of analysis, and addition of the genetic code. All this that we have done from the moment we discovered the computer, traveling into the space, looking into the smallest parts of the universe as well as the largest parts of the universe. This was all possible only thanks to the fact that we discovered or we built a machine that deals with information processing. Machines turn out to be much better at computing than us from the very beginning. That's why F-16 cannot be piloted by any human being. Just as with drones, we just give a suggestion of what we want to do with the drone. For industrial robots that construct our cars, for them to work, a computer is needed. Reverse kinematics equation needs to be resolved that computers do in real time. No humans would be able to do it so fast. Finally, it turns out that the machines are better than us, even in things that we do for pleasure. They're better at chess. It turns out that we have to give the machines still other fields where it would seem that we are much better as humans, and no machine would ever be able to be better than us.
We connect the computers in one huge network, and we are able to exchange information thanks to that. I can write an email to a person in Singapore and can write in a couple of moments on a Discord or an email. Technologies If we told about them to people that were here 100 years ago, they would say it's magic, but not possible, won't ever be possible. The pace of changes is increasing, it's speeding up all the time. Let's compare it with James Watt and his steam machine to the moment when the Wright brothers took off on a plane. It took longer time than from the start of Wright's brothers to the flight of the helicopter. From a big, heavy machine to a light machine, it took more time than to a machine that flies on another planet. Internet use timeline, you can see that it gains users exponentially. Today we have more machines connected to internet than there are people in the world. It's easier to access internet than to have potable water. That's how strongly the technology impacts our life. We built bigger and more efficient computers. We manage more and more information, and increasing number of information is digitized, so we can move and pass the information to the computers. And then AI came with ChatGPT that derailed everything. Creativity is not only a human feature. Computer can be better and faster in creative activities. None of us in this room and none of people living on the earth is not wiser than ChatGPT. It's a machine that knows every language on the earth and read every literary work on the earth. There's not a single human being that can do it in their lifetime. So we have a genius available at just for a couple of dollars. Intelligence that knows every language and read every piece of literature. Thanks to that, ChatGPT had 100 million users in 2 months. We're waiting for the first app that would have 100 million users in 1 week. ChatGPT changed a lot, and it's changed it in many directions. It switched the way we work. Some years went by, and we noticed that AI is very good for text analysis, operating on large sets of data, but it's bad in physical things. If we ask it, and I do the mechanical design, if I ask ChatGPT for help, it's useless. Computer can do it because computer can calculate particular things in maths, but it will not trim the bush, right? Why? One of the answers to that question is the thesis that was presented by Professor Moravec. He said, things that seem difficult to us are easy for computers, and things that seem easy to us are very difficult for computers. We are a result of evolution. Me walking around this stage is a result of millions of years of evolution, and what seems to be an achievement of civilization was just a result of a couple of thousands of years. Language, for instance. So it's much more difficult to teach a robot how to walk than how to calculate. Well, autonomous vehicles have been promised for many years that in the next 2 years we will have autonomous vehicles, and they are not here yet. If anybody is trying to convince you that we have them, no, they're wrong. Autonomous cars don't work, don't exist yet, and that will not be the case for many years. Humanoid robots move in an amazing way. It can jump, it can move. it's much more agile than I am, but if we can do a humanoid, a cyborg that walks and acts like a human person, why does it not serve coffee? Why don't they clean these Congress halls like this one? Because it turns out that making a robot that moves is easy, but making a robot that knows how to move, it's much more difficult. And this is the biggest challenge now. We can do very advanced machines, but we cannot tell them what we want them to do. And this is happening now, actually. Let me tell you that next big revolution, like the ChatGPT was, will be the humanoid robots that will drive around and move. I think they will move in a strange way. So there's a robot who has legs and wheels. There's no such thing in the evolution. Nothing like that was invented. Maybe this is a moment when we create the evolution of robots. Humanoid robots become cheaper. For dozens of thousands of dollars, we can buy a robot. And we can have a slave for some thousands of dollars, a persona that can perform all our tasks. If we do succeed in making it work, we can scale it in a way that we scale steam machines. First day we will see one robot, and in a week we will see 10,000s. That's the category that we should be thinking about robots. One robot will not change society or a landscape, but tens or hundred thousands will definitely change a landscape. And I would like to leave you with this sort of reflection. We are at the verge of automation. I think we are heading towards that direction. I think we are at the threshold. And it's hard to imagine what the future will bring. Maybe we will work with robotized colleagues, or maybe we won't be working at all. Thank you very much.